This is going to be one of the craziest drawings I've done in my entire life. You see, I'm attempting to draw this LEGO RedBull F1 car onto this absolutely massive piece of paper in just 3 days, and if I fail, I'll burn it. Right, so it's officially 9 o'clock on Monday the 19th of May, which means that I have until 9 o'clock on Thursday the 22nd of May in order to finish this drawing, which is very concerning because a drawing of this size normally takes me well over a week. Now, I'm using the grid method for this, so I start with some very exciting calculations to work out how big I'm going to draw the grid onto my piece of paper, so it's the exact same aspect ratio as the grid that is already on my reference photo. Right, 24 minutes deep into this challenge and we have a grid. Yes. Very cool. So I can now use it to transfer the outline of this RedBull F1 car onto my piece of paper. So I started things off on the front wing, and I got some mad deja vu from my LEGO Ferrari F1 car drawing because the front wings are exactly the same. And just like the Ferrari drawing, the topography was still an absolute pain in the backside because it needs to be perfect or else it will look really weird. And the best part about this front wing is that once I'd done one side, I then had to go and do the exact same thing on the other side and try and keep it as symmetrical as possible or else it would just look a bit wacky. And moving up the nose, we have probably my least favorite part of the entire piece. In just a 2 centimeter by 5 centimeter space, there are 7 different words. And it actually got worse before it got better because on the wheel guards, there's a sticker that says Hard Rock, which is actually quite a funky font and is also curling with the wheel guard. So it was only right to grab a quick cup of tea to soothe all the pain this topography had put me in. But luckily going towards the back of the car, there was a lot less topography and it really was just a case of going through each of the boxes one at a time and slowly but surely sculpting the outline of this LEGO RedBull. And at the very back of the car, it was actually really dark on my reference photo, so I actually used the model itself so I could actually see what is going on. So it's almost 2:30 and the sketch is now complete. So that's all the foundations in place. So I reckon this is a good time to go and grab a bite to eat, really soak up the British sunshine and then get straight back to it with the marker base.
A little while later.
Right, so I've returned from my lunch break and it is currently 10 to 3. So what I need to do now is prepare the sketch for the color. And this preparing stage involves just erasing a lot of the grid lines so they don't smudge everywhere whilst I'm coloring it in. And then I go over the entire sketch with something called a kneadable eraser to remove any of the excess graphite, which is apparently a very boring process because my phone stand just decided to record my computer instead. I mean, bravo phone stand, good job, absolutely amazing. Right, so at 3:09, I can start using the markers on the RedBull. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I use markers to do a base layer for the colored pencils a bit later to go on top of. And I recently did an experiment to prove exactly why I did this by drawing this clown, where on one side I only used pencils and on the other side I did a base layer with markers and then the colored pencils on top. And you can see that on the right hand side, the colors are just a lot richer and more intense. And this is because the white paper grains that usually show through the pencil layer just no longer exist because they've had a really nice soaking of marker ink. Now, the markers I'm using for this are called Ohuhu Honolulu markers, which are a dual tip marker where one side has a brush tip and the other side has a chisel tip. And the chisel tip is actually really useful because you can use the sharp edge of it in order to do the edges of the Lego pieces because you can get much cleaner and crisper lines with it than you can with the brush tip. Now, I've got to say it was quite refreshing doing the yellow and red pieces on the back here, considering that 95% of the car is either blue or grey. And I was actually on the rear wing where I made my first mistake. You see the eye on Bybit is obviously yellow and I actually went over it with a grey marker. So I had to use lots and lots of layers with a yellow marker in order to try and get it looking yellow again. Right, so it's officially 8:20 and the marker base is officially complete. I mean, look at this. You kind of get a really good sense of what the final piece will look like. Obviously, it's quite a streaky and blotchy version of the final piece. So what I'm going to do next is come in with the colored pencils. But before I do that, I'm going to go and have dinner to fuel me through probably a very long night of drawing a LEGO RedBull.
A few minutes later.
Right, so I've just returned from my dinner break at 9:15. So as I've already said, we're now coming in with the colored pencils and honestly just taking it to another level. Now you may be thinking, well, Tom, you're flying through this. There's no way you're going to be burning it. But the thing is, colored pencils absolutely suck up time. I mean, this little part of the front wing took me over an hour and a half. Right, so it is officially 10:30 on day number 1. And I'm going to call quits for today because I don't want to go like crazy into the night and then be completely frazzled for day number 2 and 3. So yeah, I'm going to go get some sleep and I shall see you nice and early tomorrow morning.
The next day.
Right, so you may be wondering why I'm in a car, and it's because I have 2 options. I could have gotten up and started working on the drawing straight away like a sensible person would on a challenge like this, or I could still go to the gym, and I've decided to still go to the gym. A, because it makes this challenge a bit more challenging because I lose an hour and a half of drawing time, and B, it's because I always feel like I'm more focused throughout the entire day after having gone to the gym in the morning. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Right, so I got a tiny bit sweaty, so I need to go home, have a shower, have some breakfast, and then get straight into the drawing. Right, so it's officially 8:22 on Tuesday the 20th of May, meaning almost 24 hours since we started this challenge, and I reckon we should dive straight back into it. Now, I'm using Caran d'Ache luminance pencils for this, alongside a few polychromos, and what I'm doing is just really emphasizing what I've already got down from the marker base. Right, I've officially spent longer working with the pencils than I did on the entirety of the marker base, and it is currently 12:15. So what I'm going to do is take a quick lunch break and then get straight back to it.
One eternity later.
Right, so I've returned at 10 to 1, and if I'm being honest, it's not as enjoyable as what it was yesterday. It's a bit more of a slog, but hey, it's got to be done. So I dove straight back into it, and my absolute favorite part, the topography on the front wing, and it was a case of coming in with a very sharp blue pencil to go around each of the letters, and then coming in with a white pencil to make everything just a bit brighter. Now you may notice that the blue on my drawing is actually slightly lighter than the blue on the actual car, and this is because I find the blue on the car is just a bit too dark for my liking, and I find this lighter blue just really pops a lot more. Right, so it's now 20 to 6, and I'm pretty confident that I can do the pencil work up to here before the day is over. And to really incentivize me to keep drawing, I've got a new little desk toy. I mean, check this out. But despite this new addition to my drawing supplies, having spent 11 hours drawing yesterday and currently 8 hours drawing today, it was all starting to wear on me. Right, so we're now approaching 8 o'clock, and if I'm being honest, I got nothing left. I don't want to draw anymore, but I'm still pretty far away from where I want to be by the end of today. I actually planned ahead for this because I expected myself to get bored of the drawing. So I actually picked up a can of Red Bull. And yeah, I've never had Red Bull before, so I don't know what's going to happen when I drink this. It might give me wings, who knows. I'm not quite sure about that. It tastes like that popping candy you used to have. Yeah, screw that, we're going old school with some coffee. Now, I don't normally have caffeine, so the caffeine mixed with some high energy, probably a bit too loud music, led me to draw like an absolute madman for 4 hours straight. Right, so it's officially midnight on Wednesday the 21st of May, and I have managed to do the pencil work up to the position that I said I would. So tomorrow what I've got to do is the pencil work on the back. I've then got to add in a shadow, and then obviously go over the entire piece and just refine a couple of things. And if I'm unable to do this by tomorrow, then unfortunately this drawing is gonna get a little crispy. Right, so it's officially 5:37 on Wednesday the 21st of May, and there's no gym this morning. We're just going to dive straight into it because I don't particularly want to burn this drawing. Right, so I'd actually like to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video. Oh yeah, this video isn't sponsored. But if you'd like to support this channel, I have limited edition prints available of all of my drawings. Whether or not there'll be prints of this Red Bull still remains to be seen. Now, each of these prints is signed, numbered, and packaged by myself, and are now part of hundreds of LEGO collections all over the world. So I'll leave a link to my shop down in the description, and let's get back to drawing the Red Bull. Now, the bulls on the yellow pieces here are actually quite challenging because obviously they're so close together, so if they're just slightly not symmetrical, it's really obvious. So it's a case of really taking my time here, but luckily I managed to get them pretty accurate in the sketch. Right, so it's official, I now have less than 24 hours to finish this piece. Right, so at this point I definitely put my foot down, but I just want to walk you through a little trick that I use when drawing the grey Lego pieces, and it was to use some dark blues, almost purples within the shadows, and some lighter blues within the highlights. And what this is doing is it's bringing up the color saturation of those grey pieces so they don't look really dull in comparison to the really bright blue, red, and yellow main body. And I was honestly dying at this point. This had definitely stopped being fun a very long time ago. I mean, even the rear wing, which I was actually looking forward to when I started using the pencils, really just sucked because it just felt as though I was having to constantly sharpen the pencils, because one of the downsides of the Caran d'Ache luminance pencils is the fact that their leads are really soft. And then once I'd done the wing, I could then start to go back over the entire piece and just add in some more details, clean some stuff up, and then I could attempt to try and add a shadow to ground it on the page. Right. So, it's officially time to put this in the bin because it is 10:15 on Wednesday, the 21st of May, and this thing is complete. Right, so I just want to say a massive thank you for watching all the way until the end of the video, unless you skipped to here just to see if I would burn it. Shame on you if you did. And if you'd like a print of this drawing, because obviously I've been able to finish it, you can check them out using the link in the description, and every single purchase helps support this channel and allows me to make more drawings just like this one. And honestly, I'm done. I'm off to bed now, so you can check out the video that's appeared on screen. I'm sure you'll like it if you've enjoyed this one. And yeah, as I said, I'm completely done. So yeah, I shall see you over there.